She was Jamaica's Rocksteady queen. In the golden era of the music, she ruled down at Treasure Isle's recording studio on Bond Street. Duke Reid must have been a very, very happy producer. The voice was remarkable and the hits kept coming. Jamaica was in love with Phyllis Dillon. And then it all stopped. Stop the world, I want to get off. There was silence. The Rocksteady queen had gone into exile, leaving thousands of fans around the world with some wonderful musical memories. But there were to be no new recordings. So what happened to Phyllis Dillon? Well, tonight we're going to find out, because after 25 years she has finally been persuaded to return to the stage, and it was a triumphant return last night at La Pally in Hammersmith, where she performed to a capacity house. Phyllis Dillon, I know it's taken 4 years to persuade you to come back and perform for us again, but on behalf of all your fans and who were there last night and the thousands listening right now on Kiss 100 FM, may I say what a pleasure it is to have you back.
The pleasure is all mine, David.
Thank you. The music of Phyllis Dillon, the Rocksteady queen.
You wouldn't stay away.
You could say it's her signature tune, and the first question, Phyllis Dillon, after all these years, is why did you do it to us? Why did you go away? Why did you stay away for so long? Why did you just pack it all up and go? Where did you go to? What happened?
It's a long story. Sure you want to hear?
We do want to hear it, because we waited so long.
Recording wasn't working out right for me.
In what sense? You had all these hits.
I wasn't getting paid. I had no money. I call it a rip-off, right? And it took me like too long to find out what was really going on. So I decided it was time to pull up stakes and go someplace else.
And where did you go to?
I went to New York.
So
I went to New York and I started a whole new life. I stopped singing. I just packed it in.
You didn't miss it?
I did. I missed it so much. As a matter of fact, I did sing in New York. I was singing with a band, the Buccaneers. We went all over America. But it was the same thing. It wasn't different from being in Jamaica. I got ripped off there too.
Phyllis Dillon, my special guest. Phyllis Dillon. I'm just surprised with a photograph I found at Treasure Isle in 1979 up on the roof. It had slipped behind the counter, and when I discovered it, I asked the management if I could take it away as a little momentum, and they allowed me to. So there you are. It's a photograph of you on a ladder inside the studio.
Thank you.
Posing in your summer shorts. What was that? Were you posing for an album, Steve, wasn't it?
It was, I think it was in Duke Reid's studio.
Yeah. Well, was it going to be sort of a publicity shot or something?
Yeah, they were trying to take pictures to see which one would look good enough to go on the jacket of the album.
Right.
So, wow.
There you go. So how did you, as a country girl out of a lovely little market town like Linstead, as you say in St. Catherine, what were you doing down in big, tough Kingston town on the east, or down at Duke Reid's studio? Was this the kind of tougher side of town?
They didn't have any studios in Linstead, and I wanted to sing. So what happened was, growing up, I entered quite a bit of talent parades and stuff like that, and I used to sing with a little band in Linstead, so we played all over Kingston. And one night, Lynn Tate was in the crowd. He used to play with Tom McCook, the Supersonics. And he invited me down to Duke Reid's studio because he was in charge of, he was the musical arranger for the recording sessions. So he said, why don't you come down and listen, because I like your voice. You might be able to do something. I went down there, and that's when I met Alton Ellis. And we became friends instantly,
Can you remember what year that was?
That was late 65, because I did make the record in early 66.
So we have Lynn Tate to thank for actually getting you there.
Yes.
In that sense.
Yes. And Alton Ellis for encouraging me.
Did he really?
Yes, he did. He did.
Were you rather nervous going? What?
Oh, God, don't ask. I was born nervous. I was, forget it.
Really?
I didn't think I could hear myself back on a tape, And it sounded good to me. I was in heaven,
Can you remember the first song you voiced?
Yeah.
What was it?
You just played it when I came in.
That was the first one, Don't Stay Away.
Don't Stay Away. I wrote it myself.
Yeah?
Yeah. And because of not knowing about copyright or not having any copyright, I didn't get a dime for that either.
You seriously saying that? Obviously, you're seriously saying it. I mean, were you paid expenses? Were you?
I got
Did you get
like
frocks and
£5 to do Don't Stay Away. £5. I guess £5 was a lot of money then, but it still was not enough. Okay.
Now, did you get royalties?
Hell no. Because when you see Duke Reid every day, was like, oh, the record is moving, but everybody liked the record, but it wasn't moving, you know. So I switched instead of fighting, and that's why I took off.
Rocksteady with the Queen, Phyllis Dillon. You didn't think we were going to draw this, did you?
No.
We've got a rocket here. Phyllis Dillon is rocking as the memories come flooding back. How did it feel last night? Full house, capacity house. You couldn't hear yourself when you walked on. The roof went off.
No, I couldn't.
Did it feel good?
It was such a wonderful feeling. I didn't know that I would get this kind of reception here, you know. I had no idea that so many people still like to hear me sing. And that's the truth.
Well, we do.
I can't find a word to describe, you know.
The feeling.
I mean, it was great. It was heaven.
It was heaven.
It was heaven.
I know for the past 4 years, various promoters have flown over to America and talked to you and tried to persuade you to come back. Who finally wove a magic spell over you to make you come back to the stage? Who did it?
Michael Barnett.
Yes. And how did that happen? And where was the first show?
It was at the National Arena in Jamaica, and it took him about a good 3 years to talk me into doing it.
And that must have been a night at the National
First
Arena.
he said to me he'd like me to come back to sing. I said, I'm not singing anymore. He said, why? I said, I can't sing anymore. He said, no, you can't sing. I said, well, I won't sing. He said, why? I said, have you got time? He said, well, I have 4 years to convince you to come. And I went, and I was very happy that I went. I didn't know how much I missed singing until I went, you know.
And what was obviously it was a special evening. Was it a celebration that night?
It was just Rocksteady Part 2, you know. And it was a big crowd. We had about 5,000 people.
Gosh.
They were all happy to see me, and I was. It's like I had come alive again.
Indeed.
You know.
There was a queue outside your dressing room last night for autographs from men who said, I've waited 18 years to get her to sign this and things like that.
Yeah.
The music of
That
Phyllis.
was very nice.
Indeed.
Yeah.
On Kiss 100 FM, we have to play this. Midnight Confessions. She did it last night, and hopefully she'll do it again tonight. Midnight Confession, a thing of the past. The music of my very special guest tonight, Phyllis Dillon, who made a truly remarkable return to the stage last night. And if you missed it, you've missed something. But you can still see her tonight, the final night of the Rocksteady Gala. How much control, Phyllis, did you have? There you were. You'd been taken to Treasure Isle. Lynn Tate was responsible. You started recording. How much control did you have over your career there in terms of deciding which songs to do and how to do them? And how did that work?
I didn't have any control. Duke Reid had control.
So he would say to you, Phyllis, I want you to voice.
I have this song and I want you to do it. Listen to it and tell me if you like it. And try it and see if you can sing it.
How did you get on with him?
We got on good. You see, I at that time in my life didn't know what money was. I wasn't paying rent. I had no responsibilities.
So
my parents were still supporting me.
So you were still living with mum and dad in
yeah.
Linstead?
So maybe that's why he got away with so much. And I love singing. I still cannot tell you what else I love away from singing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very easy for him to do, you know. And after the first record, you know, everything else was like, they say, a piece of cake.
What was the biggest hit? I mean, how many number ones and number twos, number threes?
Don't Stay Away was pretty big. Tomato was not too big.
Right.
Well, that one never moved at all. Except I went to do a show in the Bahamas, and I almost got lifted off stage because the only song they ever heard, or which was a big hit down there, was the same one that Duke told me over and over didn't move. You know.
Don't Tomato.
Yeah. So, but the big hits were Perfidia, One Life to Live, Don't Stay Away, Nice Time.
Indeed.
Nice Time was a hit too. I did over Bob Marley's Nice Time, but I did it in a calypso style. And some I don't remember.
See if you remember this.
Yeah, We Belong Together.
Phyllis Dillon on Kiss. So there you were, Phyllis Dillon, with all these hit records on the Jamaican Hit Parade and recording down at Treasure Isle. You must have got the big rush from all the guys, right? I mean, how did you cope with that side of being a star? I mean, you were the queen, you know, you were ruling.
No, I wasn't a star, and I had no idea I was a queen. Okay.
So mobile
but
phones.
Thank you.
But you were. I mean, you did. You were paramount at that time, and
I had a lot of friends, and I had a lot of people who wanted to know me, and I did meet a lot of people, and it was all right. It was all right. Some I got to know better. Some I took for brothers, and some were my fathers and my sisters, and it was very nice.
Did you eventually marry and settle down? I mean, when you came out of the business, did you?
Yes, I eventually married, and I settled down, but my husband didn't. So we eventually got divorced, and it was painful, but that's been a while. So I'm happy now, and I'm very glad that I'm free.
And children?
And, my children are all grown. They're all adults now. I have two, a boy and a girl, and they're okay.
I suppose you were busy being a mom instead of being a singer.
Yeah, when I decided to stop singing and wasn't making any money, I decided I might as well just stay home and raise my children. So that was all part of it.
Perfidia.
My favorite.
Indeed. Well, I'm so delighted that she finally agreed to come back, and I tell you, this is a lady who really didn't want to know, and you've already heard it took 4 years to get her back, and what a joy it's been. There you are. In those sessions there, were you involved in the structuring of the rhythms, Phyllis, or were they all made before?
No, I was right there when everything was being done, you know. As a matter of fact, they do it much different these days, right? Now you go into a studio, I think you have the music already. I used to be right there with the musicians, you know, and I have a little cubicle, and I'd have one of these headsets on, and I'd hear the music coming through.
So,
and if they no, the first record I made was one take. The very first take was it.
Don't stay away.
But yeah, I've been there already when we have done one song like 5 times, and none of it was good, you know, and you have to go over and over and over. It's not like that these days, though. Right?
Well, you can
the music
plug
is already done.
That's right.
And then you go do the voicing. I don't know which one. I like the old time way of doing things.
So all the guys were there, strung up and ready to play, and it was 1, 2, 3, and off we went.
Yeah. And if they did something wrong, everybody had to stop. And if I did something wrong, everybody had to stop.
Were you
start
inspired
again.
by any particular musician?
Yes, I was inspired by a lot of people. A lot of singers, a lot of musicians, you know. Name names. Patti Page.
Right.
Sarah Vaughan.
Right.
So many people, you know.
Who was the chap crooning there in the middle of your song? Who was
that was Boris Gardner,
yeah?
Another great singer from Jamaica. Yeah. He just did that part. He was in studio to do his own recordings.
Now, on the back of one of the sleeve notes of your album, it says that you actually left Jamaica. It says on the sleeve notes 68, but you were still. How did you leave and come? What happened?
I left Jamaica in December of 67. all right? But I used to go back to Jamaica sometime 2 times a year just to make the records.
So Duke would phone you and say, come on, get on the plane, get down here.
I would like you to come down next month. You know, I have a song I'd like you to do.
Oh, were you working in America? Were you?
Yes, I was.
What did you go into? Did you go into because I heard you went into banking.
Well, I have
Business.
been working at the bank now for, God,
A long time.
about 17 years. But before that, I did a lot of odd jobs.
Right.
Because running back and forth to Jamaica every time, I had to come back and look for a new job, you know. But I went to school and I, did what I had to do. And so now I only do shows on my vacation time.
That's sweet.
Or if I can get a weekend, I go down to Jamaica and I'm back in New York by Sunday night. Go to work on Monday.
On the right track with Phyllis. Phyllis Dillon. We're having some massive memories tonight on Kiss 100 FM. And it's nice to have you along with us.
I suppose after this I'll just go home and go to bed.
No, you can't do that because you have to. I have to show for you.
Well, this is my show here.
Well, no, yeah, but you've got to go on stage too and do it all over again.
I don't think I can handle that tonight.
I think you've got to, otherwise.
Not after this.
you can do them live as you did last night, and you did them so well. What did you? I mean, talking of relaxation, and I mean, obviously you're working very hard. You're on the road, but in those days, how did you chill out in Jamaica? What did you do?
That
Did you
was
go to
very
dances?
easy. I go to dances. I'd go to the beach. I'd party for days.
Yeah.
I couldn't dance. I still can't dance. I don't know if you notice on stage, I don't move. I'm like a piece of stick up there. I can't dance. I never could dance.
I thought you were very graceful.
Grace? Oh, that's what you call it. Thank you.
Well, I mean, I don't think we were expecting you to do the sort of mashed
No,
potato
can't do
up there.
anything. I couldn't do it when I was young, and now I still can't do it. I'm not saying I'm old, but I can't do it. All right?
But
No,
you
I
can
used to go
sing.
to a lot of parties, right? My friends used to have parties. I used to go to Kingston to clubs. And it was so nice to go to parties then because you didn't have to worry about anybody coming in and shooting up the place,
That's true.
It was so nice. We used to hang up until 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning,
Bleaching
And my
yourselves out.
father used to lock the door on us, me and my sister. He would lock the door. He said, no, we have to come in by 12. But the parties didn't start to move until 12. So
So you're in trouble with your dad.
yeah, and if I didn't go to the parties, I'd be in trouble too. But those were nice days. I'll never forget them, and I'm very glad I had them,
Don't touch the tomato, though, Phyllis.
Yeah. Tomato is a very special thing. Nobody should really touch, Could get in trouble for touching that.
Well, they carried her off stage in, where was it, Bermuda, when you did that, live and direct, Barbados?
No,
Which was
Cat and Fiddle Club, Nassau.
There you go. Well, here we are, being exposed to some of the things that went on down in Jamaica. I mean, I've got 2 copies of this, and both say by Phyllis Dillon, and they even credit you as the composer. I mean, I knew you didn't compose it, but you're saying that this is what they used to do. They would put your name on something. In fact, that wasn't you.
That's right. I had no idea my name was so good,
So they'd use your name to sell records and put it,
And didn't even have the decency to get in touch with me and say anything, Phyllis, I'm going to put out this record. The girl who's doing it doesn't have a name, so I'm going to use your name. When you hear it, please say you did it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Never sung it in my life.
the truth.
I did this one.
Phyllis Dillon with 9 minutes to go on Kiss 100 FM. Phyllis Dillon, it's been a great pleasure having you here tonight, and we do thank you for taking the time out, because I know you've just flown across the Atlantic, you've done 2 big shows, and you're flying back tomorrow morning, I believe.
Yes, I am. And listen, the pleasure was all mine. Let me tell you, when I saw that crowd down there last night, those people, and how eagerly and how well I was accepted, I would do anything for them, and I want to say hi to them again. Hi to everybody who's listening on this program, especially to my cousins who are kind enough to put me up. All right? And to you, David, may you live forever and always be number one. It was such a pleasure meeting you, and it was all my pleasure being here today.
Thank you, Phyllis
I hope
Dillon.
I get a chance to see you again after this visit.
Well,
okay?
we hope you'll come back. And I know you said on stage last night, and we're going to hold you to this, you said, I will come back, and everyone screamed their approval. And you're going back on stage again tonight, and then you're off to, I mean, where are your other stage shows? Are you going to go back down to Jamaica?
I leave to Jamaica on Thursday. I have a show to do on Friday. And
So you take jets like we take
I
taxis.
have 2 more shows, but I don't know where they will be right now in Jamaica. Then I come back and I go to work. I'm on vacation.
Back to
It's
9 to
the
5.
work, back to 9 to 5.
Your workmates must be really jealous.
I don't know. Most of them don't know because I lost a job like that, you know, at this bank I was working, and they knew that I was, every time I took time off, it was to go make records, and he said, well, you have to do one or the other, so
All right,
I did the other.
We won't tell them if you don't.
Right. I won't.
And are you any plans to finally go back and settle in Jamaica?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
You don't like, you've been in America a long time.
Yes, 27 years is a long time, and I give myself another 5 years to get everything together, and then I'll be back in Jamaica. And one of the main reasons for this is that when I come to London, I don't want to have to be rushing off to go back to work, you know. So once I go to Jamaica to live, I could come here and stay as long as I want. Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be lovely.
Okay.
Phyllis, have a great show tonight.
Thank you.
Knock 'em dead just like you did last night.
I'll try.
I'm sure you will. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you, Phyllis Dillon.
It's been all my pleasure.